great to see all of you amazing people again. It is your buddy, your pal, your compadre, Chris, aka Mr. Ramon, 420. Yeehaw! And I'm back on the last day of 2018. Hopefully all of you are getting ready to celebrate with your friends. You know, you're going to drink your champagne, you're going to have a glass of wine, you're going to, smoke that sweet bong water with Jägermeister in it. Not that I've done that before, maybe. But I figure I end 2018 on a high note with reviews. And the review I'm going to be talking to comes from a director I actually reviewed last year, from director Sam Salerno. And he made Dark Side of the Room, which I thought was really interesting. And the movie he made, again, is another interesting path down the what the fuck highway. It is entitled Kiss My Ashes. Not as interesting as Dark Side of the Room for a title, but it's still up there for an interesting storyline and some pretty good acting towards it. So why don't we sit back, relax, and let me give you a little glimpse to what the story is about. Basically, a vampire, a nihilist, and a murderous dwarf with superpowers come together with the help of a girl's magical penis. They fulfill an ancient prophecy to fight an ancient demon. So let me give you details of what this film is all about. Okay guys, so let's talk about the vampire first. His name is Gregory. He's been living for more than 700 years, and he's currently in a marriage, technically a loveless marriage, with a woman who's been diagnosed with stage 4 terminal cancer. It seems like a really bad situation. He doesn't have any love for her, but he loves Mother Nature. As a matter of fact, there's kind of a awkward love relationship with Mother Nature and himself. He feels for her, cares for her, caresses her, and to such a point. There's actually a scene where he's looking at the flower and he's admiring the flower so much that there's a certain point where someone takes off the flower at the top, the petal part of the flower. And as soon as that part of the flower's been chopped off, he realized that, oh, that flower's dead. But in his mind, and this is really cool, blood starts pouring out of the stem, and it's actually really fucking impressive. If I could show it to you, I would, but I don't, because I really want you guys to check it out. And he realized that as soon as the stem is by itself, he sees there's a girl, just standing there, putting the flower inside her, right next to her ear, and he falls in love with her. But he goes back to not dreaming about that, but thinking about how quote unquote, in love he is with his wife. Ooh, it's sad. Welcome back. Okay, so then we're introduced to Scarlett, a high school student who is walking on their way home when she finds a detachable penis. In the old days, I probably would have posted something or put the song on here, but I'm more mature like that these days. Fucking play it. And after she's done that, she decides she's going to show not her friends, but more like enemies. They seem like, chatty bitches. And she shows them, like, look what I have. And they say, oh, we're going to tell everyone at school. And apparently they do. So we move away from that. And then we're introduced to a couple of cops. One who's about to retire in the next 30 days or so. And the other who's a nihilist. And we're introduced he's a nihilist because he says he's a nihilist, and the other guy says he's a nihilist. You hear the term nihilist 3 times. It's like, you don't have to do that, Sam. You could just say, well, I'm a nihilist. This is the way I think. So, but they're actually staking out Gregory's place because they assume he's the killer. Oh yeah, one of the main plots of the story is there's a killer on the loose who's going around violently stabbing people all the time. You see the murders a couple of times in the film, and there's actually something really creative about the murders in this situation. I'll get to that a little bit later. But they assume that Gregory's the one that is killing it, because while the young nihilistic cop thinks that, there's something wrong when a young guy like Gregory is married to a very older woman like his wife. The older gentleman who is ready to retire said, like, there's really nothing wrong. You got to let this go. And the nihilist guy said, no, there's something wrong with this. And he just, he thinks there's, something not quite up there with Gregory. But they leave the house and, they decide to go to another spot. And then we're introduced to the murderous dwarf. Oh boy, the murderous dwarf. Okay, and now we get to meet the murderous pimp. The murderous pimp dwarf. The murderous pimp dwarf who loves cocaine and has, as he says, a couple of sweet bitches with him. Yeah. So the murderous dwarf is actually the killer in the story. He goes around, and I'll tell you in a little bit how he does it. It's really creative. He has a couple of hookers with him that are by his side. They're ride or die chicks. One he truly loves, the blonde, skinny white girl that you could tell they've been together for a long time and really care about each other. And his sweet, voluptuous, sexy chocolate girl. Oh, she's yummy. They're both yummy, but they're both awesome. And he loves his cocaine. He has a good time. And while this is going on, we cut to a murder scene where the two detectives, take a look at, another woman that's been murdered through the process. And, in this scene, you really hate the nihilist detective. He's just an asshole. He treats a new rookie coroner like shit and just, makes her throw up. It's really great. But they both happen to notice that Gregory the vampire is outside and he's walking away from the murder scene. And you can tell there's some blood on his cheeks. Like right here and here, and he wipes it away and he runs away. And the young rookie cop, it just says, like, there's something wrong with him. We gotta keep an eye out for him. And, in the process, that's what they do. And then, we get to see Scarlett be introduced to a new guy named Mikey, who finds out that she has a detachable penis, and explains to her, it's like, do you have it with you? It's like, yeah. Can I see it? You want to see my penis? Yeah. You're not going to make fun of me? No. And he takes a look, and they seem to have a nice, good connection with each other. It's kind of a nice. It starts to become a nice, sweet love story for the two of them. And then we get introduced to another cop, and this next segment involves the murderous pimp. We'll talk about that in a second. All right, welcome back. Okay. So we're introduced to a different cop, and he's walking up to see where the pimp lives at. And on his way, he sees a girl, and the girl says, don't bother me, cop, I haven't done anything. And the cop says, I'm not here for you, I'm here to see the pimp. Cop talks to the pimp, and he tells the pimp, listen, I know you've been murdering people. And the pimp says, you don't have any proof. Listen, I've been here this whole time, and nothing will happen. And somehow, some way, the pimp has some magical powers where he's able to have an out-of-body experience and stabs people. That's how he's able to kill people in the process. Phantom stabbings. And while this is happening, the cop hears a scream from outside, and it's the girl he just met, like 5 seconds ago. And the pimp says, listen, you can't prove it. I was here when this happened. There's no way. Cop lets it go. So then we move on to Scarlett and Mikey. And Mikey suggests, listen, why don't you put up a lost and found for a penis? Is this your penis sign? Then, Scarlett says that's not a bad idea. And lo and behold, out of nowhere, the guy that lost his penis shows up. And Scarlett says, well, you're still alive. How are you able to do this? And we actually go into the story of what happened. Basically involved the pimp not having enough money for, a trek. And there was a problem. Because apparently the pimp got really angry and decided to cut off the guy's dick and just threw it away. And somehow the John was able to get out of there, but he knows that the pimp is going to come after him. Like, oh, this is going to be bad. And it does become bad because the pimp is able to phantom stab the guy. And Scarlett notices there's something wrong, and they suggest, maybe we should, plant the penis to see what happens. And lo and behold, a man comes out after like the first day of spring, and it's kind of an oldish man who leaves the premise, but in the process, Mikey and Scarlett realize, that they really love each other. It becomes like a nice, sweet story. And then we go back to the whole situation with the two cops and Gregory, because there's a little bit of a oopsie situation going on there, because unfortunately Gregory's wife, her cancer came back into remission, so she's cured, and he gets really pissed off. So he decides to stab her in the bathtub while she lays, and he decides he's gonna bury her in the backyard, and oops, that becomes a problem. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, this is the last part before I kind of give my opinion of what I thought of the film. Okay, so after the whole situation with Gregory killing his wife, the cops decided to pay Gregory a visit, saying to him, listen, it's been 2 weeks since anyone has seen your wife. No one knows what's going on. Gregory says, listen, she's in Malibu, going on a scenic climb. Yeah, that's what's happened. And the young cop says, I don't believe you. I think you murder her, for the money. And Gregory has been fed up with the situation. He actually grabs a hold of the nihilist cop's hand and gives him his history of who Gregory is and how he's lived this long. And it's a great story. It's really impressive. Like, wow, that worked and it made sense. And later in the scene, there's a whole situation of who the murderous dwarf is and how he became a part of Gregory's life. It involves demons and murders and good and evil, and it works really well, and it leads towards an awesome, cool battle of, what people should live for and who they should be. And let me tell you what I thought of the film. And now it's the inevitable time of the video to let you know what I thought of this film. I really enjoyed it. There were some great aspects of the film. There were some acting parts that I thought were kind of made the film stale at certain times. The interaction between Scarlett and other people didn't make it seem as if she was human, because there were some things like, you're going to show these people that hate you the penis that you found. Another reason for people to hate you. Why would you do that? But I think it led towards her finding a relationship between Mikey and herself. The interaction at times between Gregory and his wife was okay at times, but for the most part, it worked really well. The acting regarding the nihilist was okay, but at one point I thought, are they trying to turn this into a buddy cop film? Because it didn't work for me. Don't put that, because you're trying something you really shouldn't. And if you don't have to, don't shovel in. But for the most part, it was great. There were some great aspects. The story was pretty cool. It might not interest you too much in the first part, but the second part, you'll want to stick with it because it leads towards a what the fuck situation. And you know who Gregory was and who the dwarf was fantastic. It led to something, and it works from that part. So I definitely would recommend you guys taking a look at it. Luckily, it's on Amazon. I'll give you guys a link to where you can check it out. You can rent it on VOD. That way you can see it for yourself and see what you thought of it. I would definitely recommend checking out Sam. He's really creative, and I could picture him doing some more interesting stuff in the years to come. I definitely will be taking a look at his future work. Guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you sticking around and, you know, being with me for when I had to deal with the director Dakota Ray. I'm in a tour. My stuff isn't shit, it's hot. Alright guys, stick around for Wednesday's video because it'll be probably pretty something interesting. I honestly haven't seen it yet because I'm videotaping this on Saturday night to get myself ready for I can have fun on Monday. Woohoo! Guys, you've been fantastic. I love you all to death. Be sure to check out my Facebook page where you can stay on top of what's happening with my channel and what's going on. I love you all to death. You're all fucking amazing. You have a great 2008 and enjoy the new year. Until next time, rate, comment, subscribe, and don't drink the Kool-Aid. See ya.